Good afternoon, and welcome to the April 2nd, 2024 special meeting of the Board of Education. First, I will call on my fellow board members to introduce themselves to establish that we have a quorum. Mr. Saeed.
Hello, everybody. Sami Saeed, student member of the board. Happy to be here today.
Shebra Evans, District 4.
Brenda Wolf, District 5.
Good afternoon, Julie Yang, District 3.
And we have some colleagues on Zoom.
Good afternoon, Grace Rivera-Oven, District 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lynn Harris. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an at-large member of the board.
Okay. We have called this special meeting to consider contracting with Greenwood, Asher & Associates, an executive search firm. As we announced last month, we have launched a nationwide search for our next superintendent. We have begun gathering community input to inform the development of a leadership profile for our recruiters to use as they help us identify our next superintendent. The board is hosting 3 community meetings this week, tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday night to gather input. We have a website where community members can take a survey giving their perspective on what our school district needs in a leader at this time. We are committed as a board to finding the right leader for our schools. While we know that Maryland law requires a superintendent or interim superintendent to be appointed by July 1st, we will search until we are satisfied that we have identified the person able to provide the leadership, vision, and experience needed to meet the needs of our community. The firm we have identified, Greenwood, Asher & Associates, is an executive search firm with a national reputation and an impressive track record. We have chosen a firm whose scope extends beyond K-12 space because we believe that they will bring both a more expansive pool of candidates and a fresh perspective. With that, can I get a motion to approve the green sheet?
Excuse me, Ms. Silvestri, before we do that, could we call down Ms. McIntosh David? I just would like for the audience to be able to, for the viewers at home and just for transparency, talk a little bit about the procurement process so people can have a better understanding of how we went about selecting.
Happy to do so, and then after we do the motion and the second, we'll also have discussion for all board members to ask their questions or make any points that they would like to make at that time.
Sure.
Hi, good afternoon.
Introduce yourself again.
Angela McIntosh Davis, Director of Procurement. And so I want to just explain the process that we went through this time. I think relative to the last time, we did a RFP process previously. This time we decided, or it appeared that we had a better option to piggyback or bridge, we use both of those terms in the procurement world, a contract that has been competed by another government or public entity. We had several viable options to select from. We received information from those candidates, so to speak, or firms that we could select from. And what we look for is, again, that it has been competed publicly and that the scope of services aligns with the scope of work that you're looking for your executive search as well. And so we were able to identify firms in order to do that. And then we still went through a process of requesting a proposal from them. Those were reviewed, and then it was narrowed down to a couple of firms to interview and ask questions of to make your decision.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion for the purposes of discussion, a motion and a second to move the green sheet?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, and now we can open it up to any questions or discussion items that you may have. Okay, I'll ask my colleagues to turn their lights on if there's anything to say. If not, we'll take a vote. Ms. Rivera-Oven, do you have any questions or discussion items?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, so just to recap, the board received several options in terms of bridging contracts with government entities that have already gone through the full procurement process for these firms. And then the board took some time to review their proposals. We interviewed them, and we made the selection of our firm that we are approving today.
That is correct.
Okay. I know we've received some emails from the community. If anyone, has any questions from there that we can help address, any community concerns in terms of our process, I think now is the time.
I don't think we have any questions. I think, though, that we do want our community to know that we're committed to a transparent process this time around, which is why we're sharing out here in public today how we came about choosing the firm that is being recommended for selection. And I also think that people don't always understand what piggyback and bridging means, even though you said it technically. It is a way to lessen the time, but go through a legitimate process that you would otherwise have gone through if it had not already been done by a government agency. So if you could just a little bit more on that, I think it might be helpful.
Sure. One of the other factors we have to look at is that the contract that was competed is still active. So while there could be multiple options, firms who have done searches, who have had recent contracts, the contract needed to be current and active, which this one is, which also allows for, and we, instead of using piggybacking all the time, we use bridge because it's like that bridge to getting, done what needs to be done instead of taking the 30 days for your own RFP to be out for solicitation, responses, and going through that process. So it does allow for an expeditious method of getting what needs to be done in a little bit of a faster manner.
Thank you. I just wanted people to understand that this is a real process.
It is.
Thank you.
Mr. Said?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what Ms. Wolf was saying. We are seriously committed to transparency, and I think in the, light of doing things kind of a new way, a more transparent way, one, quick thing is this is a search firm we've never used before, which I think, demonstrates and highlights our interest in really ensuring we're taking a new approach this year than we have, at least in recent, history. So I think that that's another step that I think reiterates our commitment to transparency and kind of ensuring the community that we're doing new processes so that they can have, more faith and trust in us.
I just have one more thing.
Yes, Ms. Wolf.
And you could fill in the dates, but also the public should know that we have 3 public meeting dates that are coming up this week. I'm going to leave it to our president to tell you the dates, the time, and where, because I might get it wrong.
Yes, tonight we will be at Seneca Valley at 6 p.m. Tomorrow we'll be at Richard Montgomery, same time. And on Thursday, we will be at Wheaton High School. And again, the purposes of these meetings is to get input from the community in terms of what you're looking in terms of a leader for our school system. What we're helping to build a leadership profile, which will be then handed over to our search firm as they start to look for candidates nationwide. Hey, this is what the community, this is what the MCPS Board of Education said they're looking for in a leader. And so we want to hear from our parents, our staff from all over the county in terms of what they need in a leader at this time. So very important that we have good representation. And if you missed tonight, you have 2 more opportunities, and there will be a virtual forum in the near future. Again, for the sake of transparency, I wanted to ask a few more questions. The bridge contracts that we considered, there were 4, if I'm remembering correctly. Is that correct?
There was originally 5 that
5,
we had
okay.
an option of, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And again, we interviewed them. We were very impressed with Greenwood Asher and Associates. I know personally, I thought that they are able to devote a lot of time and energy into this search. They were willing to bring on additional staff to help. Yeah, really sold me in particular in terms of their ability to deliver a quality product at the end and have good communication between the board and their team.
I can add, with regard to the contract, we're bridging Montgomery College, so that's a local institution that Greenwood Asher has, completed a search for. So, and I believe the state of Maryland is one of theirs as well. But that was helpful, I think, in having that information by Greenwood Asher.
Thank you.
I was just going to add, thank you. I was just going to add that I was impressed with their expansive network and that it wasn't just solely to K through 12. And I think that what we do know is that there's just a finite number of individuals out there able to lead school systems, but with their expansive network, that we felt like they had a broader reach to be able to bring back someone that could be unique in being able to help run our school system here in Montgomery County Public Schools. So just looking very forward to working with them and engaging with the community. And also, I think there's still time for the community to fill out the survey around what characteristics and attributes that people would like to see in a future superintendent in the event that they are not able to come out to the community engagement meeting. So just excited to get started. This is really important work of the board, right? Hiring a superintendent, and really glad that we have the organization, the firm to work with that we chose.
Said?
Yeah, and then, just, kind of outlining that whole process, if any students are watching or anyone's interested, we're also having a student forum April 10th that's going to be co-hosted by my SMOB Advisory Council. So, we're really looking to get all bases covered, so we will have significant student input on top of, all the community forums in general centered around students as well, who we know are the customers of our school system. So just reiterating to the community, we really are, getting bases covered, ensuring that, as many stakeholders, we're trying to get all, but as many we can get as possible are being included in this. So there is a student forum on top of all the community forums, on top of the virtual forum that will be occurring on April 10th as well. So I just wanted to highlight that before I forget it, just for the record.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Harris.
Yeah, thank you. And I did want to partly echo what Mrs. Evans said about the sort of interestingly fresh approach Greenwood Asher indicated they would use for our search. Having interviewed several search firms at this point and in the past several years, I did appreciate many of the other search firms seem to sort of have the same playbook, for want of a better term, and Greenwood Asher's had a very different, very unique way of looking at the diverse candidate pool that we are interested in seeing and how they would access them, and also encourage them to see MCPS as a system that they would want to work in. And at the same time, they were also I also appreciated their candor, because we realize that we are in, a situation that's not fully ideal. We know that there are many, many school systems in the country who are similarly searching for superintendents right now. There's a lot of competition out there, and they were very, very open about that reality, but not at all dissuaded from their interest in working with us to do this work. So I think it will be a good experience for all of us.
Could you expand a little on the terms of the contract? What are we asking them to do? Just for our public to understand.
So they are to meet with the board, I know individually, develop that profile, utilize the survey results, information from these public forums, but they are being directed by the board as to what, they are looking for. They will conduct a nationwide search. They will present to you viable candidates for your review and accept or denial of. It's really up to the board as well to direct them in everything that they need to do. But the search in and of itself is exactly that. It's a nationwide search, and they will get their information as developed by those surveys and forums.
And then we interview all the viable candidates.
Yes.
And then we make our decision. And one great thing about Greenwood Asher is they're with us until we find our ideal candidate.
Absolutely.
And so that we are confident that we can find one in this go-around, but if not, they are with us until we do.
That is true. That's correct.
Okay. Mr. Vera-Oven, I don't see you. If you have any questions or comments, now is the time.
Thank you so much. No, I just echo what some of my colleagues have said, and I'm looking forward to the vote.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, raise your hands. And that's unanimous with those present. Thank you. That concludes our session for today.